did your friends show you who they really are by abandoning you on your birthday? I always rolled my eyes when people said friendships don't survive past high school, until my closest friends started ghosting me the week before my 25th birthday. We'd celebrated every birthday together for 4 years. Always at the same restaurant, always in the same corner booth, always with the same tradition of embarrassing stories and too much wine. But the week before this birthday felt like watching a slow-motion car crash. Sarah, my best friend and gym buddy since forever, kept canceling our morning sessions with barely believable excuses about work emergencies that had never existed before. Marcus, whose constant stream of memes and random thoughts usually lit up our group chat, had gone eerily quiet, like someone had muted his personality. Even Emma seemed to be somewhere else entirely during our weekly coffee date, her eyes darting to her phone every few seconds while I talked, offering only and oh really to stories she'd normally dissect with me for hours. I told myself they were just overwhelmed with life, but maybe I'd been naive thinking we could stay close forever. Then Saturday came and I was honestly dreading going, but canceling would have made things worse. When I walked into our usual spot, they were already huddled together in intense conversation that stopped dead when they saw me. The smiles that appeared on their faces looked physically painful to maintain, and "Happy birthday" came out in a chorus that sounded more like in question than a celebration. Throughout lunch, I felt like I was intruding on their actual plans. Marcus kept glancing at his phone like he had somewhere better to be. Emma pushed her pasta around without taking a single bite, and Sarah actually sighed, like the sound escaped against her will when I started telling them about my promotion before catching herself and forcing another smile that didn't reach her eyes. I went to the bathroom just to catch a break from the awkwardness, and the moment I stood up, I saw their shoulders literally relax. Once inside, I told myself I was being ridiculous, that they had their own lives, and I needed to stop being so sensitive. Except when I came back maybe 3 minutes later, they'd all disappeared, just gone. The table looked like they'd evaporated mid-meal, and the waiter was approaching with that particular brand of sympathy reserved for people eating alone on Valentine's Day, or apparently those abandoned on their birthdays. "Your party already paid," he said with obvious pity. They said happy birthday. I stood there like an idiot while the entire restaurant pretended not to watch the birthday girl get ditched. I was about to grab my purse and leave when something caught my eye. A wrapped package sitting on my chair, partially hidden under a napkin. My name was written across it in Sarah's unmistakable handwriting. My hands trembled as I tore it open, expecting maybe an apology or a guilt-driven gift card, but what fell out made no sense at all. A ransom note straight out of a bad movie, with letters cut from magazines spelling out, "We have your birthday. If you want it back, follow instructions." What the hell? There was a photo of me from last year's celebration with my eyes blacked out in marker, a purple blacklight flashlight, and 5 random puzzle pieces. I shined the light on the note and tiny writing appeared like magic. "Where we first met. Look for the man in red." My heart pounded as I half ran to the university library, to that 3rd floor corner where Sarah and I had found each other during freshman finals, both of us crying over statistics textbooks. A man in a red jacket sat at our old table, grinning like he'd been waiting all day for this moment. "Your friend said you'd overthink everything," he chuckled, sliding a locked box across to me. Inside were more puzzle pieces and directions to Mickey's, that dive bar where we'd celebrated Marcus's first real job with cheap beer and cheaper wings. The bartender there didn't even let me speak, just poured my favorite whiskey and handed me an envelope with a wink. "They said you'd look confused and probably a little pissed off," he laughed. Every location meant something. The bookstore where Emma and I wasted Saturdays, the bench where we sat with Jake after his dad died. They'd remembered every story, every random comment I'd made about places that mattered. The final address led me to a boutique hotel I'd once said looked like something from a movie. The desk clerk was practically bouncing with excitement as she handed me a room key. "Your friends have been calling every 20 minutes to see if you were here yet." The suite door opened to an explosion of photos and balloons. On the bed sat a custom puzzle Marcus had made, 30 big pieces forming a collage of our favorite photos together, with 5 pieces missing from the center. The pieces I'd collected fit perfectly, completing a photo of all of us together. In the center, a note in their handwriting. "Every puzzle needs its pieces to be complete, and you're the one that holds us all together. So check the closet for your outfit, then come to the rooftop. Everyone's here for you." The rooftop erupted the moment the elevator doors opened. Not just my lunch friends, but college friends who'd moved across the country. My sister who was supposedly backpacking through Europe. Coworkers who'd claimed weekend plans. Sarah was crying as she crushed me in a hug, saying, "We had to leave. You looked so sad and I almost ruined everything right there in the restaurant." Only real friends could make getting ditched the best birthday gift I'd ever received.